Coach's Preview Show. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. Today we're talking about tonight's game, the WCTV Game of the Week, Brentwood High School traveling to Independence High School. We're going to start with our girls' coaches, Myles, Thrash, Brentwood High School, Bryan, Glasner, Independence. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Tonight's game's obviously big in terms of the standings. Brentwood, you're coming in at 6-0 in the league. Independence at 5-1. We'll start with Coach Thrash. Couple of big wins last week. Nolensville, obviously a big non-district win, and then a dominant performance, Battle of the Woods at Ravenwood, 75-28. Tuesday night, you take out Centennial by a score of 80-37. Delaney Truschel, 29. Amelia Osgood, 20 to lead the way. Coach, just keep on rolling. That's 12 in a row, right?
Yeah, that's 12 in a row, but still got a lot of work to do and some ways to go.
Coach Glasner, I think he's
Sandbagging. They're just kind of an offensive machine. They got so many kids that can score, and that's, tribute to the way their program is and their system.
And great energy, too, from your team, Coach, for sure. Coach Glasner, obviously his first time on the show, first year as head coach of the Independence girls team, but certainly no rookie if you're talking about coaching experience. Let our audience know kind of where you've been. I know this could take an hour if you told us all of it, but give us like the shortened version.
Sound like a gypsy. No, I started at Franklin County. I was there several years, then left there and went to help Jack Harlow at Bradley Central. And then when Jack left, I stayed and was head coach there for several years. Then left. I came over to Wilson Central to help Bud Brandon. And then when Bud left, John Wild came in. I stayed and helped him. And left there. Coach Keil got me to come and help with the boys, coach the freshman boys last year. And then when they had an opening, I was encouraged to take that, apply for it. So I came over and knew some of the kids and trying to change the culture.
Well, you've done a great job of that for sure. First time and already accomplished this. 10 wins for the first time, I believe, since 2012.
Yeah, we got our 11th one the other night, and so now we're 11-4. So it's just trying to get better every day. And we've got a long way to go, like Coach says, but we got more to go than he does. But we got some kids that are believing in what they're doing, and they know their role. And I'm proud of the way that they don't panic when we get behind. So it's good to have those type of kids. That kind of started this summer, and we'd be behind, and we just play the next possession and stuff. So I'm proud of the way the kids have worked hard, coming in the mornings and shooting and stuff, and they haven't done that before. And we encourage that, and then they kind of taking it on to themselves. So that's one way we can try to change the culture.
Well, obviously it's working great so far. Coach Thrash, we talk a lot about your big three, obviously the Truschel twins, Amelia Osgood, but talk about some of the other players on your team. I mean, obviously it takes 5 at a time, but yeah. Let us know about some of those other players who are big contributors for you.
Yeah, we have a lot of girls that contribute for us. Everybody used to the big three, which they are really good players, but we have some good role players as well. Kate Workman, she comes off the bench. She's kind of our spark plug, our defensive girl. She comes out and just creates havoc a lot, And Sophie Ralston, she was originally a starter, due to some injuries. She came back now. She's working her way back in. She does a great job protecting the rim for us. So we got some really good bench players that come in and help to contribute.
Yeah, I think that's something with your team that may be underestimated a little bit. You've got more than three. I mean, You've got some, obviously their roles may be a little bit different in terms of scoring, but certainly doing a great job for you. And then last week, we talked about Emily Truschel had her 1,000th point. You're saying Delaney's knocking on the door. So you've got, and we'll have here pretty soon, which is pretty unique, 3,000 points on the floor from 3 players for their career, which I can't think of a time that I remember that happening. That's got to be pretty special.
Yeah, it's exciting to know, and it's very special, and it's a tribute to their hard work. The work they put in the summer, and they've been through a lot of ups and downs to get to this point, and they're really focused in, and I'm proud of them. I'm so glad they're on my team, to be coaching them, so it's exciting.
Well, and this is a testament to you and your staff and those young ladies, but you got three players with 3,000 points, and they're still very unselfish.
Yeah.
That's something that stands out to me when I watch your team play. Coach Glasner, great start, obviously, for your team. Again, we got to go back to 2012 to find double-digit wins. As you said, already eclipsed that. Now it's an 11-win team. You talked about shifting the culture. Talk a little bit more, because I know you and I spoke about this as the season was getting started. Maybe the mentality of the team in the summer versus the mentality. I think you talked about that Ravenwood game, that was such a big win. It was almost another shift there.
Well, we're going to Ravenwood game, and it's at their place, and we've been playing okay, and we struggled in the first half to score, but we were close. And that goes back to the summer. We were playing in camp games, and one thing that we recognized was just playing one possession to the next one. And it was good for our kids because they really don't play the scoreboard a lot of times. And just to know that we're in striking distance. And all season long, seems like we have played better in the second half. Now, I don't know if it's because, they're listening to some adjustments we're making, or we're just kind of clicking, and all of a sudden we finally figure out how we can attack them a little bit better. So, and it may be a combination of all those, but this summer we were behind in games, came back and won or finished close against some good teams, and I think that's carried over, and they never panic, they just play. And again, the other night we're playing at Spring Hill, and we're having a hard time scoring, and we go in at halftime tied, and then third quarter we kind of click along, and then we kind of figure out what to do, and then we finish out strong. So, and I think we're shooting better from the free throw line. That helps. And shooting over 50 to 70 free throws a day, that kind of helps you too. So them putting extra work in, like Coach is talking about, I think that helps you in your mentality and trying to make you a little bit harder nosed in how you play too.
Lindsey Freeman, new addition to the program, averaging 13 points a game. She also eclipsed 1,000 points early in the year, and then probably the best freshman in the league. I don't know if anybody could argue that. Jalen Banks, obviously playing well for you too, Coach.
Yeah, Jalen plays with a lot of energy. Sometimes she's kind of over-aggressive, same as Lindsey. So they play with, with a high motor. And when you have kids that play with a high motor, Lindsey's been where Jalen has. She had a good freshman year and was central and stuff, and she plays really hard. But she's been trying to mentor Jalen a little bit. Pick your moments. Pick your moment. And Jalen's so young and she's so talented. The ceiling's really high for her. And she gets frustrated herself, and she feels like she lets the team down. But it looks like she's pouting, but really she's just disappointed in herself.
Right.
And but you have to know Jalen about that. But she does a good job attacking off the dribble and does a better job off the bounce. She is an extremely good three-point shooter. She just don't shoot enough threes for us. But I think her game is going to expand and stuff. And like I said about Lindsey, she just does a good job off the bounce and plays a lot of energy, and defensively too. And Jalen's real aggressive on the defense. But other kids that we have coming up that have been really big for us, Miller's been averaging about 9 rebounds a game, double digits. So she's close to a double-double every night. Then we have another kid, Amy Tang. She's kind of like that glue, that person that fills the gap. She plays the 4 spot for us. She can play the 5, but she plays the 4, handles the ball really well, can shoot outside, dribbles really well, finishes around the basket. But she has been playing really smart the last 5 or 6 games. And she kind of gives other people matchup problems just because things that she can do, but she stays in her box. She does the little things that helps you. Then you have other people like A.K. Davis that comes in and plays good defense, hits a bucket for us every once in a while. Libby Morrell, she's been doing a good job. And, Ryan Prokop come in and played really well the other night. So those are kids that's coming in and really helped us in situations. So if we can get those 8 or 9 kids to help us, then it kind of gets us to the next second half. And that really helps us overall. But everybody knows their roles, and I think that really teaches to a team concept. It's not about I'm going to score 18. It's about if we get a W. And
right.
I think that's real important.
Well, and they're, as you're sort of alluding to there, they're our points, not your points, right?
Right.
Let's talk district standings here. Brentwood coming in at 6-0, Page at 6-1, Dixon, Indy both at 5-1. So Independence, you guys get the win tonight. We've got basically a 4-way tie for first. Obviously, if Brentwood gets the win, then they've kind of separated themselves a little bit. At least from maybe your teams, that would put them 2 ahead of you and then a win over you. Coach Thrash starting to shape up in the league, obviously. It's a long way in determining what's going on, but as you get to the midway point, I know you talked earlier about, hey, our goal, we want to be the district champions.
Yeah.
Obviously, finishing at the top of the league in the regular season would go a long way for that happening for you in the tournament too.
Yeah. Yeah, we know that as well. That's one of our goals, to be district champs, but also we know, it helps with seeding. But this district is so tough. Sometimes it doesn't matter. You like to have the top seeding, but this district from top to bottom is so tough that when that time comes, anybody can get beat on any given night. So, yeah. It's
so interesting with basketball. I've always thought that really, if you win the regular season district title, really it's more impressive because you've done it for a long period of time. But just the nature of our sport, it's about that tournament. People always want to talk about what happened in the tournament. So fair or not, I think that's like you're talking about where we're at. Coach Glasner, you and I, again, I'm not trying to give away all the company secrets here, but before the year started, I know for you, you mentioned top four, which the folks at Independence maybe thought that's pretty lofty, and maybe the folks outside too, but you have proven that top four is not only realistic, but where are you going to climb in that top four? Still kind of the same thought process, or have you readjusted that a little bit?
Well, same process, but we like to crack the top three. I mean, there's certain reasons for that I won't go into, but that gives you probably better matchup situations and stay away from certain players or coaches that you don't want to play. So I think that is a good situation where we are. I think we've caught teams at the right time because of their situation, personnel they have available, and we're just blessed in that situation. And hopefully, every game we're getting better. Just like the other night, we had a little bit of fallback, and it's like Coach said, you can't take anybody for granted. And I think sometimes you take things for granted. That's why you play the games. So,
right.
But yeah, if we can finish out and be in that 3-4 spot, I think we'll be in a good shape for the tournament.
Coach Thrash, talking more specifically about tonight's game, what are some keys for your team tonight?
Oh, man, well, we got to come in focused. We know they're going to be well coached. In this district, everybody does a great job with film and scouting, so I'm pretty sure they saw some of the things we do just as we did to them. And from what we saw, we know we got a really tough time dealing with Freeman and Jayla. They're tough players, they're really, really good players. And I mean, when you look at tape, she comes off, she jumps off the screen. I immediately said she could probably be player of the year, so it's a really tough task for us. And then with him, I know his background, he's got a great coaching experience, and he's going to bring it hard for us and make it difficult.
Coach Glasner, how do you slow down?
I think he's trying to tell me I'm old.
Is that a backwards compliment?
Yeah, that was kind of a backhander there.
How do you slow down that offensive machine that is Brentwood? Because it's an offensive machine.
Yeah, they got so many kids that can score, and it's going to have to be a collective effort, and we'll have to mix up some things and, try to make them do things that they're not comfortable in. But, I don't know what those things are, but they do several good things in their game situations. So we're just going to have to play smart, and I told our girls, it's just a game. This is like a pre-test, and you got to learn from your pre-test because the real test is the district tournament.
Right.
And we hope that we're playing them sometime in the district tournament, because if we are, we're going to be in a good shape.
Coaches, appreciate you guys being here. Good luck tonight. Looking forward to the game. We'll be back to talk to the boys' coaches after this short break.
In today's episode of The Check Factor, you'll discover plastic milk jugs are recyclable in Williamson County, Tennessee.
Hi, my name is Clara, and I'm going to be auditioning with a clean and rinsed out milk jug.
Great example of a number 2 plastic. Williamson County accepts both numbers 1 and 2 for recycling. Big check.
Wow, you even rinsed the jug first, exactly like we want you to do. Check from me.
That was pitiful. You are no Michael Jordan, but you get a check for following the recycling rules. Tune in next time to find out more about only recycling plastics 1 and 2 in Williamson County, Tennessee.
Welcome back to the Coaches Preview Show. We now have Coach Greg Shirley of Brentwood High School, Coach Doug Keil of Independence High School. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Coach Shirley, a couple big wins since we last talked. Your team just keeps finding a way to pull those wins off. Overtime in the Battle of the Woods, I was at that game. What a great atmosphere. And not only they battled that night, but what a performance by Griffin Burke.
Amazing. I mean, he has such a big heart. He plays hard. Came off of family loss and he just really stepped up. Just a pleasure to coach.
You know, and for your team, I know we talk a lot about Winley because he's a guy that people recognize his name, but if you take a look at your games, it seems like it's a different guy making a big play or plays every night.
That's what we try to share the basketball. I have several young men shooting over 40% from the three. Evan Drennan's doing a terrific job inside. So it's nice having more than one player that can really step up and make plays for you.
Well, and a credit to you and your staff and your players. You know, it seems like every year you'll have a guy step up, and it seems like it's a post guy that maybe hadn't been a guy you've talked about a lot, and then all of a sudden he emerges as one of the best posts in the league. So it's obviously a focus for you and your team.
We want to be balanced, so we do have several kids that shoot it. We have a couple that can penetrate, and it's nice having somebody that we can throw the ball inside to, and he's averaging 14, 15 points a game. So it gives us a good mixture.
Coach Keil, second year as head coach at Independence. You were with the program before, though. I was just wondering, because you coached a lot of the guys JV-wise, too. Does this feel, even though it's only year two, feel like really more your team than last year's team?
I think so. Just naturally, just because we've been around each other longer, and they know what to expect. They know my terminology, and we have a better camaraderie, I think. It's just because we've been together longer, and they're really fun to coach.
Oh, by the way, one of the things I wanted to mention, this is going off script here. Who's the better math teacher? You guys are like both like big time math teachers.
Must be him.
You know, it's one of those things that I think people maybe underestimate about being in this county too. I mean, you can't.
It's a full day.
That's
Yes,
right.
that's right.
It is a full day for both of us.
And I know both of you guys do a good job in the classroom because your principals have told me. So that's obviously important too. So kudos to both of you there.
Thank you.
Let's talk Brentwood here. Off 12-4, 12-4 start, 6-0 in district play along with the girls, which is pretty unique this late in the season that both of you guys are undefeated at 6-0. Tuesday night, big win over Centennial. You're down as much as 11, 8 in the second half, but again, you find a way to win. Jake Brock, 4 threes in the second half. Big time he stepped up. Were they giving him those shots and you said, hey, let's take them, or was it different than some other nights? Because 4 and a half is pretty big time.
The second half, we shared the basketball better. We made that extra pass. We call it the Gretzky pass. So first half, I think we took too quick of shots at times, and then we didn't move. So the second half, we picked up the pace. We were able to make the pass before the pass that got people open. And he stepped in and shot him with a lot of confidence.
He hit that big 3, too, against Ravenwood. He starts off the overtime with a big 3, and you could tell he had the confidence to take it.
And, you know, he's coming from football. He played varsity football, was a big part of the football program. So he's living in the gym now, and a lot of confidence when he's open to shoot the basketball.
Well, and we talked about those, and I don't say this in a negative way, the role players on your team. But you hit 2 big 3s in the overtime against Ravenwood. Again, I know we're backing up a couple of games. One by Brock, and the other, Winley goes in, misses a shot, gets his own rebound, kicks it out. It was our play of the week on that kick out. Hits Redner for a big 3. Again, for those guys to have the confidence to take those shots, got to be pleased with that.
Yeah, this summer, you know, John Winley, who's a terrific leader, having an amazing season, he was out for a while, and he gave Mason Renner, Griffin Burke, Jake Brocks, and Evan Drennan's. It gave those players a chance to step up and make plays.
Well, they're obviously making them. Independence, you go on the road Tuesday night, big win over Spring Hill, 60-34. Matt St. Charles with 14. But I like this too. You had 12 different players score, so that had to be a little bit of a get-well game. You guys start off 7-2, lose a few games in a row, but again, your schedule's been really tough, including your Christmas tournaments that you played in. So that had to be a big confidence booster.
It was, and it was great to see because no matter what our record is or what we've done, these guys have been such a pleasure to coach because they've kept with the process and kept working and trying to get better at everything we do. And so it was great to reward all those guys, both that play regularly and that don't play necessarily as much, with minutes and an opportunity to score.
Well, and that's something I think maybe the general public doesn't appreciate about coaching. We all know that everybody on the team's working hard, but the reality is sometimes it's hard to play everybody. So a night you get to do it, especially this late in the season, maybe gets their juices flowing for the remainder of the year, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, like you said, it was kind of a get-well game for us, fortunately for us, because it's been a struggle. You know, just things haven't been going well necessarily, but not due to lack of effort or lack of caring. We just haven't been playing well, and we haven't clicked. And I think maybe some injuries throughout the year have kind of messed up with our rotations and just kind of different things. But I'm really excited about where we're going to be at the end.
Well, and you deserve credit for this too. Your teams, you know, we've had a relationship for a while.
Yes, sir.
Warren County, Lebanon High School, obviously an assistant coach there at Mount Juliet as well, Glen Cliff, and now at Independence. I've never seen one of your teams not play hard.
Well, thank you for saying that.
I mean, that's to me, that's something that you can control as a coach, and your teams always do that. Even when you're in the midst of, you talked about a little bit of a rough spell. It's a little easier when you're, you know,
Absolutely.
20-game streak, right?
Absolutely. It's easy to play hard when things are going well. But our guys, we have outstanding young men led by my 6 seniors this year, and they're doing an outstanding job of making sure that everybody keeps working.
Well, talk about some of those guys. Obviously, Matt St. Charles, Rishi, Salitri. I passed, didn't
That's
I?
right, you got it.
And Noah Crook are guys that stand out. But talk about their leadership and what they mean to the team.
Well, we have 6 seniors. You mentioned 3 of those, and they're doing a great job. But we also have Trey St. Charles, who's just a scrapper and gets after it for us. Zach Melton, who shoots the ball, but he's also learning how to really work hard on the defensive end, which is really a great thing for us. And then Connor Rudolph, who's really fighting and keeps getting back, and he's kind of getting back into the swing of things, and really excited about his progress as well.
And watching you guys play, too, I've been very impressed. And you'll need him tonight, obviously, with Darrin on Brentwood's side. But Cameron Bell, just a sophomore. I love his demeanor.
Just a sophomore, has fun, always wanting to learn, and really goes after the glass, and really has, I think he's averaging 5 rebounds, about 7 points a game. Just really exciting because the sky's the limit for him, and he's just learning everything. Everything's so brand new, and it's kind of fun to coach.
No, you can tell. District standings, Brentwood and Dixon both atop the league at 6-0, Summit 5-2. Franklin 4-3, Centennial 4-3, Independence 2-4, Ravenwood, Page, and Spring Hill round out the district standings. Coach Shirley, 2 games left in the first go-around for your team, right?
Yes, sir.
So a lot still to play for, but what's the mindset for your team right now? Are you thinking, and I know we talked about this a little bit last week too, are you thinking about, hey, let's get that top spot, or is it more about, hey, what's in front of us here?
Yeah, we're really trying to take it one game at a time. We have so much room for improvement. You know, we've had a lot of very close games, which is a testament for their, you know, work ethic and just being able to pull out victories. And every game that we've pulled out has given us a little bit more experience.
Yeah.
I mean, John Winley is the one young man that was a huge part of our playoff run last year. So the Battle of the Woods, the Franklin game, last night being down by 11 in the third quarter. So they're gaining experience. Last year, this time, I think we were kind of a final product where people had been around for a couple of years. My exciting part for me is I know that they want to get better, and we'll need to get better against the district.
Well, it's obvious, too, in watching your team, the chemistry's great. It is, and it has to be so exciting because only 2 seniors on your team. I mean, obviously, got this year still to play, but with only 2 seniors on your team, it's not like, you know, it's going to be over here in a couple of months.
I mean, they genuinely care about each other.
Yeah, you can tell.
We talk about it being the second family. It's 100% second family.
Yeah, you can tell. You really can. Coach Keil, you're sitting at 6 right now, but obviously there's a lot of parity in the league, and really maybe it's more about the matchup you get as opposed to where you are or where you finish up. I mean, obviously if you're in the top 4, then you're going to be looking at a home game, but you've got an interesting situation that you're hosting the tournament this year. So obviously you want to get past game one, because when the home team hosts, a lot of times really throw the records out then, right?
Yeah, you want to be there and have that opportunity to play. You don't want to sit there and watch the tournament at your house.
Oh.
So that's not the most exciting time. And I think our guys are buying into that. They're excited about it. And, I think on any given night in our district, something good can happen.
There's no doubt about that. You mentioned this, and it's probably bad coaching on my part, but I think the teams I coach maybe hosted the district or region 4 times, and most times I was watching. I'm like, man, this is no fun.
It's not.
Have you ever had that, Coach Shirley? It's terrible.
My first year here, we
It's the worst.
were second seed and we got upset
It's
in
the worst.
the district quarterfinals.
It's the worst. It really is. I had a year where it was district and region. Got beaten the district, so the district tournament, the region tournament. I was a great host, though. I mean, I really got into it.
You put on the
after
smile, though, didn't you?
I didn't smile too much, I'll just be honest.
Unfortunately, that's what we have to do sometimes, is kind of, suck it up, grin and bear it, and do the best you can, because it's obviously disappointing when you're not in that. Let's talk tonight's game a little bit more. Coach Shirley, what are some keys? And, we've already talked about this a little bit, but, Cameron Bell, he may be a guy, because I think with your team, maybe outside of Franklin, they're obviously a pretty big team as well, but Evan's a problem for a lot of teams with his size and what he does on the boards, but Cameron's obviously a guy that maybe can match up with him a little bit physically. So what are some keys maybe there and otherwise for your team tonight?
Well, I do agree. They play, Independence plays hard. He's going to switch defenses on us. I know that he has a lot of different looks he can give us. And they, like you said, they just compete. And there's several players you got to take in account for outside, shooting threes, but they're, he'll have them ready to play without a doubt. I know that there's going to be some new wrinkles and so forth, and then we just have to be able to come out and compete ourselves.
Coach Keil, you got some momentum after the win Tuesday night. Back on the saddle again there in terms of winning. Well, how do you keep that going tonight? Obviously a big task taking on Brentwood.
It's a huge task. I mean, because not only are they talented and well coached, and they believe Brentwood. They've done it for years. So that's one of the things. But I think our guys are excited for the opportunity. They like the challenge. We're going to have to stick to the things that we do, and play team basketball, play for each other like they really have been doing, and just trust in the process. And I'm excited, like I said, about this challenge for our guys, because they embrace it.
Yeah. Well, I know it's going to be a great crowd like we always have. And something I meant to ask both of you too with the district. I'm curious what your philosophy is. Do you pay attention to who everybody else is playing on each night, or do you kind of just look at your own game and?
I do not. I don't have a clue.
I knew you were going to say that.
I have no clue who's playing who until the next day at the earliest, usually, because I'm just immersed in that one game.
I'm going to guess Coach Shirley knows.
I 100% know.
He knows everybody. He knows everybody.
I knew every score before I left the gym last night.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way too. So it's really, really interesting. Obviously, a lot of ways to skin a cat, so it doesn't mean that one way is better than the other, but I'm always curious about those kind of things. Gentlemen, appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much looking forward to tonight's game. We'll see you next time on the Coaches Preview Show.